Hey, what's up, guys? Lorenzo here. Okay, happy rainy Friday, guys. TGIF. Okay, let's see. I just want to share with you. Oh, okay. So I watched two films this past week. Okay, and it's a Spielberg one and it's a Chris Nolan one. So for the Spielberg one, okay, here's my comment. Okay, I don't want to be harsh. All right, I don't want to sound like I'm some big guy or some big time director because I am not yet. Okay, and I'm just gonna say my honest opinion as a viewer, as an audience, because I am an avid Steven Spielberg fan. I love his films. I think he's one of the greatest directors now of all time. All right, since the '70s, which my favorite of his was Duel. It's an independent film of his made for TV. All right, and he did it for free, and it's one of for me it's what defines Spielberg. Then you have Jaws, then Close Encounters, and Schindler's List, Saving Private Ryan, Jurassic Park, Munich, Minority Report, War of the Worlds. He made a lot of great films. But my favorite was Saving Private Ryan because it was just hard and raw, just like Schindler's List. And so let's get on with it. So Disclosure Day, I just saw it, and I'm gonna say it's nothing different. Okay, nothing different meaning we've seen a lot of those alien stuff on YouTube. Okay, and it does not, honestly, it does not disclose anything. It's basically saying, hey, you know, these extraterrestrial creatures do exist, and you have to have some sympathy with them. We have to be able to acknowledge them and welcome them and say, hey, hello, we notice you, all right, we will not harm you, all right. I think that's the message of the film. But I've heard or seen better alien coverage from YouTube or from Joe Rogan podcast. It's that was more interesting. But I was expecting a lot because I was expecting, you get a tour around the ship, the whole UFO thing, and we get to see more aliens, and whether there's some disclosure that the aliens can disguise themselves as a human. That would be a more interesting take on it. But basically the film is just like saying, hey, these guys are there, they exist, and they just want to help out. um I don't know, maybe it shouldn't have been made into a movie. I don't know, but for me, it wasn't his best. Although I adore Spielberg, I love Spielberg, and yeah. So that's my comment. It wasn't his best, and it wasn't the best alien film. It wasn't the best, but I still love the guy because I'm a Spielberg fan. So okay, there you have it. Then Nolan, I'm a fan of Nolan, Christopher Nolan. I think he's one of the talented guys right now, honestly. Because I enjoyed, my favorite film from Nolan is Memento. That was his second film. Then he did the Batman stuff, which was actually pretty good because it's hard to do something that was already made from time to time, and how to make it good and interesting. And Nolan did a good job with that. I love the Batman films that Nolan did. Okay, and yeah, then he did the others, the Prestige, my favorite also. Then he did a couple of more mind-bending movies. And my review for the Odyssey. Okay, I don't want to be so blunt or harsh because as again, I'm not a big time director, I'm not a Hollywood director yet. Okay, so my review is this. Without saying anything harsh, I am looking forward to Elon Musk AI film version of the Odyssey. There you have it. A more accurate one, a more realistic one, made entirely with AI. Well, he mentioned on X that he would make one for 100 million. All right. And he's vouching for Mel Gibson. All right, yeah, let's let the guy do it. He did Apocalypto, he did The Passion. Those are great, historically accurate, historical films. You know, shot with dead languages, and it's not even Hollywood. So I think he's the right guy to do it. And I also think Ridley Scott has probably would have had a great take on the Odyssey. I mean, look what he did with Gladiator. Even Gladiator 2, even though it wasn't his best Gladiator, it was by far entertaining, and it's beautiful to look at. And so there you have it. It wasn't Nolan's best. I get his style, the Dark Knight vibes, but for me it wasn't his best. And I would prefer another take on the Odyssey, or someone else do it for Netflix, a more accurate one with at least Greek actors, and the costumes to make it more gritty, more grounded. I understand, it's a mainstream audience. You need to have the DEI stuff, politics to get the market. You need to have all the races there. But look, I'm not racist, okay? But like, I want to see a good film. Okay, I don't want to see a commercial where you have to use all these famous actors to advertise your product. There are other films to do that. You have the Marvel films, you have the superhero films to do that, but please don't do it to the Odyssey. I think the Odyssey deserves a better telling and a better take from someone in the future. Maybe it's me, maybe it's some other talented lad that would tell it in a more accurate Greek way. So there you have it. But although I still love Christopher Nolan, I think he's a great director, by far the great ones. If you compare him and the others, you gotta put Nolan in the top. And beside Ridley Scott, I'm excited for his film, The Dog Stars. Okay, that's the sci-fi post-apocalyptic. I'm excited for that. And two directors, I'm excited. I'm excited about, because they have recently made upcoming films for next year. So you have Oliver Stone, the guy who did Platoon, my favorite. He has a new film called White Lies, all right, starring Josh Hartnett and Michael Douglas. And it's an interesting drama because that film is about the bad parenting, in short. You see all the mistakes of Douglas's character as a dad, a failing dad, made a lot of mistakes. Then he had a son, Josh Hartnett. And unfortunately, Josh Hartnett follows the footsteps of his dad, making the same mistakes. Okay, so that's interesting. I love Oliver Stone. He's a great storyteller and also a good historian. I learned a lot from Oliver Stone, from medieval history, ancient history. The guy is talented, well read, and I look up to Oliver Stone. I love the guy. Great director. Not many like him. He has good film recos, and what else? Oh, Michael Mann, my favorite. He's making a film now, Heat, the prequel, starring DiCaprio and Christian Bale. All right, and I'm excited about that. I love Heat. I love Michael Mann. I love that world. When he did Thief, Heat, Miami Vice, Collateral. My favorite, my guilty pleasures of directors: Oliver Stone, Michael Mann, of course, Chris Nolan before, and Spielberg before. So yeah, there you have it, guys. That's it. Rainy Friday, guys, and a lot has been happening in the news lately. So Will all the minority go to jail? We shall see. But hey, you know, it's finally, there has to, time has come for justice here in this country, in the Philippines. So yeah, the States, um, God bless the world. I don't know. That's it, guys. Keep up with the news, exercise, eat well, stay dry, rainy season, and stay safe. Some say there's a storm, the next day it's gone, the afternoon it comes out again. It's kind of bipolar, so, but still, stay safe. That's it, guys. Don't forget to pray to the Almighty. And ciao, guys. Have a happy weekend. Cheers.